Visiting with Tucker Reed at the Dallas Arboretum. He is horticulture manager of all of the 66 acres.
Not all of it, but the original part.
It feels like it sometimes. Yeah. We're going to talk about summer, getting ready for summertime. We're into the hot weather. How do we survive the hot weather? Now, you've just put these little plants out. These are ageratums.
Yes, they are.
And these will go into the summer. A certain distance, they may or may not go all the way through. But
that depends on the design philosophy, but they can go all the way through if we wanted them to.
And so how do you take care of new transplants? When you set them out, are you hand watering for the first few days?
We do hand water the first couple waterings, and then we rely upon our sprinkler systems. They had a starter fertilizer put into the soil before planting, as well as the soil was tilled before planting.
Tucker, if you were going into a garden center to buy plants to take to your house, you would try to buy plants that had been grown in the kind of lighting at this time of year, kind of lighting that they're going to have when they get home. You don't want to take them out of a shade house, put them in the sun.
Right.
Okay, so that's ageratum. That's just one example. What are some other things that you would plant into empty beds in the summertime?
I'm a big believer in planting begonias, especially the dragon wings, which take the full sun really well for us out here. Angelonias do really well.
Aren't they pretty? They really come on.
And they really bloom well. There's still the purslans and portulacas. If you want something low.
Lantanas, copper plants, firebush, purple fountain grass, the conventional things.
Yep.
Those are too mundane. You don't even think about those, do you?
Those aren't the top of my list. So.
All right. Show us around a little bit here, and let's talk about some of the other things that you're doing. Right. Tucker, we're taping at a time when the ryegrass that you have here is transitioning out. By the time this airs, this will be gone. What will you do for the Bermuda grass to get it through the summertime? How do you feed it?
We feed it about every 6 to 8 weeks with a medium grade nitrogen. That's the way you're going to get your grass to grow.
Right. What height do you mow your common?
Our common we grow at 2 to 2.5 inches depending on the garden.
It's fairly high, but you have a lot of traffic also.
We do.
All right. Then as far as frequency of mowing, how often do you mow it?
At 2 to 3 times a week. But that's what we have to do.
That's what the public is not going to be willing to do at home.
Right.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about some of the perennial care that you would give in the summertime.
Okay.
Tucker, I noticed that the summer snowflake back here is starting to die away, and probably by the time this airs, that will be dormant.
It will be, and we'll pull any yellow foliage. We'll just keep pulling off as it turns yellow.
Right. You don't want it to look too unsightly, but you also don't want to take it if there's green there, because that's still nourishing the bulbs for next year.
Right.
Now, how will you deal with that space the rest of this year? Will you overplant something there?
There isn't, and actually buried underneath it, which is really hard to see right now, there are daylilies throughout there. So there are some other hardy amaryllis bulbs that will come up through it also.
The lilies, the true lilies here, will be finished blooming by the time this airs, and they will begin to look like that. So you kind of, in a perennial garden, you have to know where things are.
Right.
So you don't come back and start digging.
Exactly.
A bunch, all right. Daylilies will be in bloom when this airs, or may be past. It kind of depends on how fast they come along in this year.
Right.
Phlox, summer phlox.
And that phlox blooms all summer long.
Oh, there's so much fun in perennials. Perennial planning before you plant is really critical, so you know when things will bloom, isn't it?
Right, and I always tell people, you really need to think about, don't go to the nursery and buy all your perennials in the spring, because then you only have the plants that bloom in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
I really recommend to a lot of people, go to the nursery every 4 to 6 weeks and buy what you're seeing, because then you'll have it moving through your garden.
And come to the Dallas Arboretum every few weeks so you'll see this, because
these
are pockets of color.
Right.
That's great. Tucker, thank you very much. Folks, you need to see the Dallas Arboretum. Become a member so you can come back lots of times. Right now, we're going to go to North Haven Gardens, look at decorative accessories right after this.
Coming up today, we're going to take a fresh take on a Greek salad using some fresh watermelon from the garden or from the market.